Welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. Now today this is a first for my channel. We're actually going to be doing some chocolate biscuits. This tutorial includes in video form the recipe and method for the biscuits. We're going to be using a few simple techniques because these biscuits are actually very easy to decorate. We've got this beautiful gold cake lace. Doesn't matter what cake lace mats you own, this is a great opportunity to use them. Royal Icing, which is just piped on there, and some Royal Icing flood outs. As always, I show you everything step by step. Happy New Year, everyone, and here's to more fantastic, new, completely free content. Let's make a start. In order to make our biscuit dough, you will need 185 grams of butter. Simply add this to your mixer with 185 grams of soft dark brown sugar. You now want to mix this until it's a nice smooth consistency. This is what you want your butter and sugar to look like once it is all incorporated and mixed together properly. Start by mixing 315 grams of plain flour with 60 grams of cocoa powder. Now add half a teaspoon of baking powder and mix this in evenly. Taking 2 eggs, you now want to add 2 level tablespoons of black treacle directly to the eggs and whisk in. Now that we have all our ingredients prepared, we simply need to mix these together by hand. So start by adding a few of the eggs and treacle with your flour, cocoa and baking powder mixture directly to the bowl where we beat that butter with the sugar, and simply mix it all together. Once it is all mixed, you will just need to give it a slight knead. Wrap it in cling film and place it in the fridge for about 30 minutes just to allow it to go slightly firm. Once your biscuit dough is firmed up, simply roll it out and place it directly onto some baking paper and then cut out the shapes of your choice using any cookie cutters that you own. I'm choosing to use love hearts. Some are going to be solid love hearts and some are going to have the centre cut away as well, as it gives a beautiful effect. I will speed this up and then all you'll need to do is place them directly in the oven on a baking tray for 10 minutes at 190 degrees centigrade or until the outer edges are starting to go golden brown. These have been out of the oven now for 5 minutes, left to cool on the baking tray, but the baking tray is still pretty hot. After you have left them for 5 minutes, you can place them directly onto a cooling rack. There will be plenty of biscuit dough left over for you to make an awful lot more of these. Just bear that in mind, it goes an awful long way. For the decoration, I have 3 different cake lace mats here. Just use whatever you already own that has been sat in that cupboard for ages, and you will realise just how easy these cookies are to create, no matter what type of cake lace mat you are using. You want to start firstly by making up all of the cake lace as it needs time to set. Now I'm using this beautiful ready-made pearlized gold by Cake Lace, and this is one of the cake lace mats that you can see here. Now normally you'd use this particular mat around the edge of a cake, but I'm just going to cut bits of it away and use them on my biscuits. This is what I mean about literally using any of your cake lace mats to make these biscuits beautiful. If you're new to cake lace and you're wanting to buy some, you simply spread it over the mat like you can see me do here. Get away any excess, and then I prefer to leave mine to set overnight, but you can actually place it in the oven. Just follow the instructions on whatever brand of cake lace you are using. This is another mat I have used. The cake lace has set, and just to show you how I like to remove it, I simply flip the mat over, and if it is set enough, it will come away with ease. Simply do this for all of your other cake lace mats. In order to make the royal icing, I have left the recipe and method in the description below this tutorial. So in this bag here, I have used a number 1 piping tip, and it is the same consistency as what you can see in this bowl. I've just added about half of it to that bag. That is specifically for piping. Now, in this other bag, I'm going to be adding much runnier royal icing. To do this, you simply add a very small amount of water and keep on mixing. Now, this is for the flooding technique. By adding the water, it just means that when you've already drawn an outline with the one that's in the number 1 piping tip, it will flood the centre for you. It's a very simple technique to learn, very easy to achieve, and it has beautiful effects. So simply do this and then add this to your other piping bag, except there is no nozzle in that piping bag, and I will just trim off the end when I start to decorate the cookies. Now it's time for the fun part, adding the cake lace and the royal icing. So here you just saw me just cut it down with some very sharp scissors. Here I am using the number 1 piping tip. This is the one with the more, or should I say less runny icing in there, with the consistency that you saw right at the beginning. If you want to do a flood out, simply draw an outline, take the other royal icing that's a lot runnier, and you can see it just fills that gap in there absolutely beautifully. That's one cookie finished. Just look how versatile it is though. So these are 2 more feathers, but much smaller. I'm just putting them in simple shapes, simple patterns, and then just going round with the dots. It is such a simple but striking technique. Now, these would be great for Valentine's Day, especially weddings. They were fantastic for any celebration. They're very delicate, extremely beautiful, yet they're so easy to make. Now, you've got to remember there's all sorts of different cake laces on the market. This is the one that you would normally think of as using around the edges of a cake. But cake lace is so versatile, it can actually be hanging off there as well. If it's covering the centre, it just looks beautiful. And then I just go around that pattern again with those dots. Simple, striking, easy, but extremely stunning. And it really is as easy as that. Happy baking, everyone, and I'll be back soon with more new, completely free content.